morning, and welcome to this week's edition of Marquette in Motion. We're your hosts, Miranda Peters
and Hallie Kilberg. Today, we'll be interviewing Mr. Jim Klein, a Marquette administrator, about the upcoming Magic of Children event.
Catherine Heimbuck will be here telling us all about class artwork and baskets that will be auctioned off at next week's fundraising event.
Justina Denlinger will be informing us on the upcoming kindergarten read.
Sam Peters and Jonathan Herrig will be here to give us some great advice, and you ask, we answer.
Then we'll be back in segment 3 for all the Marquette sports and updates.
And last but not least, Brooklyn Moore and Kelsey Gerlach will be interviewing Marquette senior Ryan Hemley.
And Ryan's not the only person being interviewed this week. We also have a special interview coming up for you today, here in segment 1. That interview is with Mr. Jim Klein, the man at the helm of this week's Magic of Children fundraising event.
Every spring, Marquette holds its largest fundraiser called the Magic of the Children. This event is held at Horizon Hall and includes a meal, some fun games, and both a live and silent auction.
This year, once again, there will be a preview night which will be held on Friday, March 31st from 6 until 8 p.m.
Then on Saturday, April 1st, the night of fun will ensue.
Here with us in the recording studio today is Mr. Jim Klein to give us more details and some behind-the-scenes information about this magical event.
Hi, Mr. Klein.
Hello.
So, what exactly is the Magic of Children?
The Magic of Children is the largest fundraiser that Marquette has. It happens the 1st of April usually. It all depends on when Easter falls. But this year, it is March 31st and April 1st. April 1st is the actual event. We have a buffet put on by Kelmis's out of St. Donatus, which is an awesome meal. The cost for the meal is $20. And then we have a live auction, and then we also have a silent auction. One of the new things that we have this year with the silent auction is it will be all online, which is very exciting. So we have probably about half of our items right now on the website, which is called Bidding for Good. So if you would like to log on to biddingforgood.com, you can see all the items that we currently have in the silent auction, and you can even start bidding. We've had a few people that already had a few bids in there on some of the items we have now.
Can you give us a preview of some of the items that will be auctioned off this year?
Absolutely, Miranda. Some of the cool items that we have this year is, if you love food, we have cheesecakes, we have cookies, we have pies, we have pizzas, and we have canned beef. We also, if you are an outdoors person, we have a turkey hunt that is guided by a couple of Marquette students, which is very exciting. And we also have a duck hunt, and we also have some fishing excursions.
And usually there's a grid item. What's the grid item for this year?
Well, I'm glad you asked. The large grid item that we have this year is either a all-inclusive private jet ride and hotel and ground transportation, including a show at either Las Vegas or to New York City. Both of them are the Las Vegas trip is the first weekend of December, and the New York City trip is the second weekend of December.
How much money are we hoping to raise this year?
Well, this, again, like I said, is one of our largest fundraisers of the year. We would like to raise between $130,000 and $150,000, which last year I believe was one of our highest, and it was right around $145,000.
So where will this money go exactly?
Obviously, the money goes right back into the school. Some of the neat things that we have is what we call helping hands, and they go directly to specific things. Like, for instance, last year, I'm just going to mention a couple of them. One was the floors within the locker rooms of the MEC, and also another one that we put on there was a recording studio, which is what we are using right now. So those are things that go directly into it. Everything else is just into the general education aspects of the school. So the money goes right directly back into helping all the kids out.
So you said before that the meal costs $20. How does someone get their hands on a pair of tickets?
You can purchase them at the door. You can purchase them at the preview the night before, or you can just give us a call at 563-872-3356, and Carrie would be more than happy to help you out with that.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us, Mr. Klein.
Thank you, ladies.
And listeners, stay tuned. Catherine Heimbuck will be back after the break to tell us about the various projects and baskets that classes have created to be auctioned off at next week's Magic of the Children event. Don't go away. Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Here now to tell us about class projects and baskets for Magic of Children is Catherine Heimbuck.
The 18th annual Magic of Children event will be hosted in Horizon Hall on Saturday, April 1st. Each class has been preparing a project or basket for the auction. This year, the 3-year-old preschool class project features a close-up picture of the hands of each preschooler holding a rosary. The 4-year-old preschool class used their bodies to spell out the words faith, hope, and love. The kindergarten class drew their pictures on the inside of a handcrafted toy chest, and then these drawings were etched into the wood using a wood burner. The kindergartners are also creating a fleece blanket personalized with their self-portraits. Students in the first grade class are creating a St. Francis picture to be auctioned off, while the second grade class has painted popsicle sticks which have been made into a cross. A teddy bear quilt is what the third graders have made, while the fourth grade class is producing a giant outdoor Yahtzee game. Finally, the fifth grade class is making a Marquette Catholic sign in watercolor. The baskets that classes are assembling range from packages including gift cards, car washes, coloring books and regular books, massages, bracelets, and passes to fun or relaxing places. As Mr. Klein mentioned earlier, remember to log on to www.biddingforgood.com to check out all the items. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Catherine Heimbuck.
Thanks, Catherine. And now filling in for Justina Denlinger is Miranda Peters to tell us about the kindergarten read on March 31st.
On Friday, March 31st, the kindergartners will be welcoming their family members into the kindergarten classroom for the annual kindergarten read. At the onset of the week, each kindergartner will choose a different story that he or she would like to read on Friday. The students spend the week perfecting the reading of their story, focusing on fluency, voice inflection, and speaking loudly and clearly. Then, on Friday afternoon at 2, family members arrive at the classroom door. They receive a pamphlet including the story that each student will be reading, they find a seat, and they listen to each kindergartner read his or her story. Halfway through the kindergarten read, students serve their parents drinks and refreshments. Students also sing for their visitors and share a prayer. Up next are the guys with all the answers, Sam and John, and You Ask, We Answer. Let's get started.
Okay, the first question reads, in the sport I'm playing, I could be on varsity and not get as much playing time, or I could be on JV and get much more time to play. Do you think I should join varsity and not play as much, or be on JV and play more?
I think that you're just going to have to do whatever your coach thinks will be best for the team, and go with that. And although you might be playing varsity and not have a lot of playing time, you'll get a lot of good experience for later years.
The second question is, the musical is happening, and I get really nervous before I perform because I'm afraid I'll forget my lines. Do you have any advice to calm my nerves?
Well, it's perfectly normal to be nervous before performances that are actually in front of people compared to what you do in practice. But to calm your nerves, basically just keep your routine basically as the same as you would in practice, and just try and stay in that rhythm and don't really switch up what you do beforehand normally.
Okay, and the last question says, I'm a senior and I want money from scholarships, but I'm short on time. Do you think it's worth it to spend all of that time writing papers for scholarships that I might not even receive?
I think that in a lot of circumstances it is, because if it's a $500 or $1,000 scholarship, usually it doesn't take more than 1 or 2 hours, and that time for that amount of money is certainly worth it. And even though you might not get all of them, hopefully there will be a few that you will get, and that will make all the work worth it.
Thanks for all the great advice, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more Marquette in Motion after these messages. Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Here now again are Sam Peters and Jonathan Herrick with all the sports and updates.
Thanks, Miranda. Last Friday, Marquette's track teams competed at the Tri-Rivers Indoor Meet held at Cornell College. Both teams ran extremely well. with the girls placing third in their first ever meet. Hallie Kilberg placed first in the 15 and 800 meter dash, with times of 5:23 and 2:34 respectively. Also, Ben Kettman beat the shot put school record by 6 inches, throwing the shot 34 feet 10 inches. Great job, girls and boys, on their first meet of the season.
Thanks, Sam. Marquette's other sports, golf and soccer, are approaching their first games of the season. The golfers will be having their first meet on Monday at East Buchanan, and soccer will not be having their first game until Thursday against West Dubuque. Marquette's spring musical, The Wizard of Oz, had its big debut to the public this week. The musical had great turnouts Thursday and Friday for their performances. If you had not come one of these nights to see The Wizard of Oz, they will be having their last performance tonight starting at 7 o'clock in the MEC. Tickets bought tonight will cost $3 for students and $4 for adults. Come down to the MEC and show your support.
For Marquette in Motion, this has been Sam Peters
And Jonathan Herrig
with your Marquette Sports and Updates report.
Thanks, guys. Up next are Brooklyn Moore and Kelsey Gerlach interviewing Marquette senior Ryan Hemley.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brooklyn Moore.
And I'm Kelsey Gerlach.
And today we'll be interviewing Ryan Hemley, who is a senior at Marquette. Could you start off by telling our audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, I came here in freshman year. I used to go to the Dubuque schools. I went to the Catholic schools in Dubuque. And my main purpose of coming down here is I really liked the school. I liked the atmosphere. I don't really like bigger schools, so this was perfect.
So where do you plan to go to college at?
I'm going to go to NICC for nursing, which I'm planning on being an operating room nurse. So I'll be in there while people are getting surgeries done. And I'll get my RN there, and then I'll go to Iowa later or take an online class and get a BSN or possibly even further.
What made you want to go there and major in that?
I like sciences. Anatomy and physiology is probably one of my favorite classes, so I thought that nursing would be a good fit for me. And then when we took our shadow days in junior year, we went to the Maquoketa Hospital, and I had a good time there. It was a lot of fun. I saw a lot of neat things.
So if there's one thing you're nervous about college, what is it?
It's not the big stuff that makes me nervous. It's the little things, like just remembering to buy toilet paper and stuff like that.
To do that.
That's going to be a big change.
Okay, well, we're going to switch from serious questions to fun questions now. So the first one is, what is one thing you can't live without?
My phone. I use that for everything.
Something that's on your bucket list?
Go to Alaska.
Oh, sounds cold. What are some of your strengths?
Sciences, definitely. That was the only reason I got a moderately good ACT score, so...
Don't get too scared now, but what is your biggest fear?
Ooh, sharks.
Oh. that was a quick
In
answer.
Bellevue, Iowa, sharks.
Quick answer is just like, sharks, okay.
We have one final question for you. What is the most important lesson you learned at Marquette?
It's that people that are older than you probably know better than you. So you should probably listen to them when they're giving you advice and just don't argue with them constantly. It doesn't help anybody in the long run.
Okay, agreed, Mr. Senior. So that concludes our interview. Thanks for letting us interview you, Ryan, and thanks to all of our listeners. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Brooklyn Moore
And Kelsey Gerlach.
with Tell Us More.
Thanks for reporting, everyone.
And thank you for tuning in. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Hallie Kilberg.
And Miranda Peters.
And remember, stay informed, stay involved, stay
In motion.